it's Nicole, and today I'm reviewing Sarah Moss's book, Ghost Wall. I didn't expect to enjoy this book as much as I did since it was an unsolicited Christmas present, but it pleasantly surprised me. It's set in Northumberland, which is in the northeast of England on the border of Scotland, and follows an experimental archaeology university course conducted by one professor and attended by 3 archaeology students, as well as a man who isn't a student of the university but an ancient Britain enthusiast, and his wife and teenage daughter. The man who joins the course with his family is called Bill, and he is described as a difficult man. The word choice and concision of the description, as well as the use of euphemism, is so apt. You already know everything that comes with it from cultural osmosis or some such social process, and it's all summed up in 2 words. His obsession with ancient Britons has a darkness to it, narrow and closed to new information that challenges what he wants them to have been. He represents the people who claim to revere the past, but only cherry-pick what's convenient to them and project a modern interpretation on the past without concern for context. Identity and how much you can possibly know about the past and how we interpret others all plays an obvious role throughout the story. I got the impression that this was no coincidence considering Britain's current political landscape, and it would be easy for him to be the focus of the story, but he is not. The story is told from the point of view of Sylvie, Bill's teenage daughter. She is introspective, practical, and fair. Her thoughts and suppressed wishes often come into conflict with her reality, and I liked being in her mind when she worked through those moments. We don't really get to know many of the other characters all that well since, other than when foraging for food, Sylvie is often isolated from the other students, and both her parents are distant in different ways. This means that when the hint of connection or conflict arises, what Sylvie observes, thinks, says, or doesn't say in response was that much more important. The experimental archaeology course itself began to feel like a variation on the Stanford prison experiment in that it's a role play that goes too far, but you watch how it happens and how each person plays into it or against it. It builds so naturally and becomes urgent without losing any of its plausibility. The more I think about this book, the more it endears itself to me. Despite being such a short read at only 150-ish pages, it felt weighty and satisfying. It's the kind of book that makes me so aware of my shortcomings as a critical reader, where I come away feeling like there's probably so much more to draw from it than I'm aware of, or unable to fully or clearly grasp, much less put into words. I had never heard of Ghost Wall and didn't look at any reviews or further synopsis than what was on the cover before I started reading it, but I did know that Sarah Moss is a well-respected author, and one of her previous books, The Tidal Zone, has been on my radar since I think it was Jen Campbell mentioned it ages ago. Although I did find the absence of speech markers awkward at first, sometimes it would break my flow as I had to reread to understand if something was being described, said, or thought. Sarah Moss's writing was very engaging. She weaves a story that is quiet and tense and so well-paced, managing to show so much that's difficult to explain. I think this book is probably very recommendable to a broad spectrum of people. It felt relatable to me even though, on paper, there is not much that I should necessarily be able to relate to. But it's also short enough that it wouldn't at all be a painful journey even if you try it and don't get on with it as well as I did. This was a great book to kick off 2019, and I hope your year has started with some stellar reads as well. Feel free to tell me about any of those in the comments below and let me know what you think about this new style of reviewing. That's all for now, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!